Don't you know, they're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. Don't
We all have a dollar value on us. Every human being does. How much do you make per hour? You keep trying to raise it as much as you possibly can. Time is something that you're given very little of. It's extremely valuable, priceless. Your time is being used to do something you'd rather not be doing to make somebody else rich. So they don't have to do anything like what you're doing. Time away from your children, your husband, your wife, your spouse, your concubine. You are being purchased. You're a number. And the money value you're given back as compensation is what you are worth in dollars. If a living, breathing thing isn't supposed to be stamped with a degrading dollar value, think about what you had for lunch today. What'd you have? Chicken? Now, chicken often costs about $2.46 a pound. In case you didn't notice what you ate, it came from a chicken. Probably had the hot rooster date lined up for it in dreams of a family, a dozen chicks or so, a white picket fence. And now, that chicken American's dream is kaput. Because all of her kids have been made into omelets, and her husband is now in several cans of soup. These were living things, just like you. You're different, because why? Because you're human? Well then, I guess you'd have to imagine if some advanced alien race decided to take this planet from us and decided that they rule now. And maybe these creatures one day actually have the gall to decide that we are food. And we're going to be round up, raised in cages, sold for a Yerglik value, their form of currency, by the way. Who the hell do these Glorb-Nokians think that they are? Nothing is more important or valuable than a human life. We're set here to rule over everything. The other creatures are here to be our food. These Glorb-Nokians are obviously horrible beings, and they deserve to be eradicated from our planet because they're going against God. God would so not approve. Ugh. And besides that rosemary rub that they use on us, really chafes. So if you ever wonder if maybe that's not what every other creature on the planet thinks about us, who the hell do these stupid humans think they are?
This my shit.
After all, the animals were all here first, according to every evolutionary record. So in a sense, we invaded the world as aliens, forcing every other creature to our paradigm and our slavery. Rounded up and sold at a Yerglik value. Poetic justice for our species. So it's only fair that it should also happen to us. But we get all offended and righteous about how it's wrong to sell people. But we've sold people. Remember slavery? Humans are superior bullshit. People have a dollar value. It serves them right because we've put a dollar value on every other living thing on the planet. If you are offended at this fact, you should be just as offended at the fact that dollar value was put on the chicken you just ate today. Because otherwise, your offense has absolutely no leg to stand on. Either we remove this dollar value on everything bullshit way that we look at the planet and stop acting above it and start allowing for the selling of human babies on the black market and make human slavery legal again. Come on, folks. We need to be consistent here. We walk around like it's the planet is ours to just destroy and rape and kill at whim. But since now we just established that there's a dollar value on humans, just as there are every other creature, it's time to talk economics. The economics of human and creature trade value. You've heard of the law of supply and demand. It's basically an understanding of the natural way that things rise and lower in value. If a product is in a higher supply, then it's probably going to have a lower value than if it's really rare. If all living things are stamped with a dollar value, then we have to look at them all as though they are in some form of living economy. If there is a species that is overpopulating so that it is destroying the value of life for like the other creatures around it, then that one would have to be drastically lower in value. Whereas if there is a creature that is endangered and kind of rare, you'd have to admit that it's considerably higher in value. With me so far. This in fact is exactly what happens. When a creature is endangered, then every poacher in the world aims its rifles at it because it's just waiting to bag that valuable trophy off of its hide. In fact, oftentimes putting something on an endangered species list is a way of guaranteeing that it'll go extinct faster. So recently there was this There was this story in Indonesia about forest fires that was going on, and it was killing a bunch of the orangutans in their fields. Over 1,000 were killed not by the fires, but just simply by machetes being hacked up by the people because they just considered them a nuisance. These creatures are being diminished rapidly because of threats and sickness and starvation and other environmental causes. Who cares, you know? Because they're inconvenient to the humans. They're considered worthless. But to economics, endangered species would actually be worth far more than these demanding, self-righteous creatures, you see hacking them up with the machetes, wouldn't you say? People have this insane illusion that they are the most valuable thing in the entire planet under any circumstances, no matter what. This massacre of orangutans would actually be a bigger dollar value loss than the tragedy of all the hundreds of thousands of people that were killed in the tsunamis in 2005. Sometimes all the members of a specific species may not be equal in value. Cows are valuable for hamburgers, but if they got the mad cow disease, they're not. And then there's young calves, which are valuable for veal because of its gourmet properties. Let us not assume that all humans are of the same dollar value as well. In this case, there are many tribes of humans who have existed harmlessly on this planet for long periods of time. Many of them have been wiped out of existence by us. They do not seem as valuable to our people. They didn't populate without limit, cultivating the land, just lived peacefully upon it, hunting only when they needed food, taking only as much as they needed. These people are almost entirely extinct now. Or they're shoved onto reservations and not allowed to live as our people used to. Everything that we just discussed would make them a hell of a lot more valuable than just another city-dwelling, hard-working, car-driving, resource-consuming human being like you or me. But here's the kicker. Our culture thought that we were the most valuable and that we had them dealt with harshly to make more room for people like you and me. After all, by no means are a bunch of advanced, civilized people going to get the hell out of their way, going to get off their landmass anytime soon and return it to them so they can go back to living their harmless way. Of course not. That would be economically absurd. Or would it? There are very few people who preach about the value of the holy dollar as much as
Check this shit out. It's gonna change your life.
He'd also suggest that he's much more valuable as a human being than all the other creatures of the world. If there's any person out there that is overpopulating and cumbersome to the planet's ecosystem, it would be people like this. This world is supposed to revolve around people like this. They think they are more valuable because of the amount of dollars they have in their pocket. They have much less value, since they're pretty proud of how they senselessly and limitlessly destroy everything around them. Rush Limbaugh, for example, said that he's much more important than, say, the spotted owl. In fact, he's probably equal in value to one of the spotted owl's turds. I say this not to insult one of the owl's turds, but to suggest that they both have very powerful, valuable fertilizing quality. Rush Limbaugh is full of a lot of fertilizing value. Of course, if you knew that an ear of corn was grown off of the methane of the bullshit that he spews, would you want to eat it? I didn't think so. So now I can hear a lot of people out there right now thinking, okay, well, if you think you're less valuable than all the other filthy animals, why don't you just let them eat you? Well, I am human, yes, but I'm a rare human, because I'm one of the very few people who would tell you the truth about this crap. If you disagree with me, then you're just one of the many, 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 many less valuable people out there who live just as another zombie to the system. Wasting away, driving, throwing trash out the window, stuff like that. So that means I'm more valuable than you are, as are all the others who agree with me. Since there aren't enough of us that think like this, the population continues to march head-on into destruction and oblivion. Maybe we're not the ones that should be eaten at all, nor would, say, the homosexuals who don't breed. Although if you're one of those holy people who believes in a God that gave human beings the right to subdue the world and overrun it without care, without limit, without responsibility, I'm sure you're not going to be satisfied with that answer. And if that's the case, I invite you to eat me.
You are going to hell, 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 hell. It's a wonderful place. It's a place of fire and stone.